the time to get your mind right, but if you put in the work, you can find the light, alright? I'll do anything that I feel like I wanna do. I'm living life like I got nothing left to prove. No end in sight, just always staying on the move. I'll go all night if that's just what I gotta do. Life's too short to care about what you can't afford. Memories are in what you explore, so just don't be ignored. Go ask for more, go ask for more. 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride down the side, PCH, country limit. I don't need a guide, follow lights, take me where I wanna visit. Are you alive? Or just breathing? 'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die any minute. Going for a ride.
Right, welcome, one and all, ladies and gents, to the Hcast episode number 80. Hope you enjoyed the lounge. We were just sort of chilling there with some music for you all, and new kind of rolling background. You kind of see it now around us.
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to your favorite podcast. We are back with episode number 80. It's crazy to think it's been going as kind of long as it has now, because it was going previous to the actual name and then the naming, the numerical convention behind it as well. But we love this show, me and my fellow co-host, as well as the panel, which will be rocking up soon. Don't worry, guys, we do have some more people joining us today. But what we've got in store for today is a whole bunch of stuff. We've got filmmakers calling out Marvel. We've got the blame game on fandoms again. We've got rumor control, casting announcements. It's all over the place. It's an interesting topic, or sort of topics to cover today. So before we do, I've got to say all of this kind of stuff as we roll in here, guys. We get heavy demonetization here on the Hcast. Your favorite podcast is funded by you guys. So if you want to join in the conversation but support the show, please do. Super chats are a great way to do that. They are read out. There's a captive audience. We sit here, we discuss, we chit chat through your super chats periodically during the show. Memberships are a really good way as well as super stickers and Patreon. I don't talk about Patreon enough. Memberships and Patreon, I don't really promote that much, but Patreon is really, really good. It's better than memberships because I get more of it. Because YouTube likes to take a third. It's quite a lot that they take, or 30%. It's a lot that they take. So if you want to support, that's the way to do it. And if you want to get involved in the conversation, super chats are the way to do it. Please do, as you're rocking up here, hit that thumbs up button. Give the stream a share out to those that may enjoy it as well. But I will say this, as I do here and there, please do let me know where you're from. I'd love to figure out where you guys are all tuning in from. But that out of the way, I am joined by my co-host, which is Culture Casino. How are you doing, good sir?
I'm fantastic. I think this is great. I can't believe we are 80 deep as far as the numerical convention that's now assigned to it. But we did do a considerable number of these shows without a proper,
Well, we didn't have a name. There was no name for it or anything.
Yeah, we didn't have a title or anything. And I'm glad we settled on HCast, and more changes, positive things are coming in the future. Next week might look a little different. So we're pretty excited.
We've got some big stuff on the way to bring you a better show, smoother show. Like I said, we'll sort of introduce the lounge period. So as we're about to go live, we typically will extend the time before we go live, just so YouTube sends out notifications. So the likelihood is now when we're about to go live, it will go live, but we won't be going live. You'll have this sort of waiting area lounge type thing with a scrolling background, some music playing, just so those notifications go out. And there may be a new intro. I've heard there might be something on the way. Is that right, Culture?
Maybe? It is, yeah. We're
right there.
We're knee deep in it. It should be something fun. So, yeah, and we're gonna mix it up. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I think that will slowly evolve. And I think that as we go into the new year, and we're almost to the new year, Mr. H. But
I'll tell you what, it's crazy to think that we're coming to the arse end of November.
Yeah,
we're already towards the end of November. Obviously, we're not there yet, but we are over the threshold of the midway point. We're already, fast approaching December, fast approaching the festive period. It's crazy to think. It's absolute madness.
Yeah,
it's gone by quite quick this year, I feel.
It did. And if we continue to do this show twice a week, and I have no reason to believe we won't, we're going to be like in the 200 plus category, very quickly. I can't believe it. It's amazing. And I tell you what, the show continues to grow, thanks to all of you. And as Mr. H mentioned, it is 100% supported by you, because there is no love from YouTube for us. So.
Yeah, there really isn't. I will say as well, ladies and gents, I forgot to say it on my sort of opening preamble. Please do check the description box. So you can find Patreon there. I know someone said that they don't like Patreon. I get that. But it's more if you don't want more money to go to YouTube, basically. So I understand people have their preferences. Just letting you know that we've got Patreon, we've got members. It's up to you what you choose to do. It's up to you. Just letting you know the reasons why. But in the description box is, excuse me, is the second channel where these streams go up. It's the archives channel, Mistake Reviews Live Archives. You'll find that link there. But you'll also find everyone's channel link down below that typically joins the HCast as a panel member. And as Culture said, is this going to continue? 100%. Absolutely, it's going to continue. Long may this continue twice a week, every single week, outside of extenuating circumstances, like last week when I was sick as a dog.
And when you were dying.
Culture was unable to
and I wasn't in town, or else I'd have run the show.
Well, it's just unfortunate, isn't it? But we're back. We are back. So we do have some super chats to get to just before we roll in with some of these intros, and it will give an opportunity. Andre is going to be joining us. He's already said he is running a bit late, but he will be here. Nick is doing some Thanksgiving bits and pieces with family at the moment, but he will be joining us as well. Not quite sure where Tom is. Don't know what he's doing. So I do know that we've got 2 panel members joining us. I know that much for sure.
Tom's dead. Tom's dead.
Tom's dead. All right. Then. Well, he's asleep. He was asleep on Tuesday.
Here's the strange thing. He made it a point to say, I'll be at the HCast, and then I'm driving up to wherever he's driving today, because there's a big meetup, right, of the fellowship.
Maybe he thinks it's an hour. No, because it would have been on already.
I don't know. I could call him. You want to embarrass him? I could call him.
You can call him and embarrass him if you want. That's fine. I will get these super chats. You call him. Yeah. So we got Chaos Sonic for $5 says, "Hey, Mr. H, FYI for Madam Web, the villain for there was not a villain at all in the comics. He was more Peter's mentor in the world of totems and a hero." What is the world of totems? What is totems? We will discuss Madam Web, I'm sure, at some point. A little bit more of an informal chit chat on today's panel. I'll save my thoughts, but it looks a bit poo. Madam Web does look a bit poo. Israel R for $10 says, "Hello, HCast and panel. we're a little bit anemic at the moment, but we will get some more people. At this point, anything Marvel, Star Wars is not worth it anymore. Still have hope for good content like G-Man -1. And I'm thankful for creators like you and the panel and the chat. Cheers. Well, thank you so much, Israel. I do
True
appreciate
story.
that.
True story.
Yeah, do appreciate that. G-Man -1 is set to be absolutely incredible. I can't wait for that. we're only a couple of weeks away for me being able to watch that, I think, as well. So yeah, I'm very excited. I have heard some more spoilers about it. I'm not going to reveal anything, but suffice to say, some of the leaks were inaccurate, which is good. I'm very happy with that, actually. These weren't my leaks; they were just leaks that were floating around on the internet, and I'd sort of taken a look at them. But I'm very happy that those leaks are apparently inaccurate, because it now means I have no idea what's going to go, which is great. I'm very excited as a result of that. Very, very excited. Well, listen, I think, why don't we just talk about Madam Web culture? Why don't we, let's do that. Let's have a look at that. What pile of crap?
Look,
it looks like something straight out of the 2000s, doesn't it?
It does, and I think there's a reason for that. I think they went with Amy Pascal's.
They intentionally made it shit.
Well, yeah, but I think they went with Amy Pascal's version of events, and I think that speaks to why we're headed that way. Well, but think of it this way: at least they're acknowledging that it's going to take 4 chicks to take out 1 dude.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, so much misogyny there. I mean, it's
unbelievable.
I
love it.
You say fancy things, but look, I mean, the lore behind the character. The lore behind this character, Madam Web, is interesting because, I mean, this is a younger version of the one that I learned about early on in the comics, right? Because this character came into existence in my lifetime when I was reading books that I picked up at the local convenience store.
I quite like Madam Web. Madam Web as a concept is quite interesting. I mean, yeah. I was first introduced to Madam Web in the Spider-Man the animated series.
Yeah,
and she was quite a formidable character in that series. Very much like what's going on here?
She's essentially tied into all the Spider-Men, right? She's a seer. She's capable of a great deal of things, and in the lore, as Old Woman,
she
and
can
I think
control the multiverse as well. Can't she?
Yeah, I mean, she can really, and that's the Spider Sense, right? She was theoretically the Spider Sense for the Spider-Men at times. When there was no way they should know that events were going to happen, she was linked to contributing to their success.
Yeah.
So I look at that and I'm like, okay, this is nothing like this. We're getting young woman, Madam Web.
What a boring actress as well. Did you hear her performance on that voiceover? Oh, goodness me. I didn't know that I was doing this week, and then next week blah 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 blah. Just kill me now. It was terrible. It's so bad.
So you're not a fan?
I am not a fan. I took a look at isn't this the 50 Shades of whatever?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah. Abysmal.
Well, yeah. Well,
you understand that was clearly only made popular by a bunch of crazy cat ladies.
Oh, you're gonna hate my take on those films, but that's fine.
What's
E.L. James?
Those films are dog shit.
E.L. James was a television producer, if I remember correctly, and wrote a bunch of these.
It was fan fiction. It was Twilight fan fiction.
Yeah, basically. But anyway, so yeah,
no,
E.L. James.
It was legitimately Twilight fan fiction that she then reworked into.
Again,
that is the story.
I know, but I'm trying to get the whole story. Which she was a television executive. She wrote these books. She kind of based them off of some strange stuff between her and her partner. And, that's how we ended up with the first book. And then she just kept on with those.
Yeah.
And, look, if you don't like her, what do you think about Sydney Sweeney?
Oh, she's cracking.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
2 ways she's cracking. You know it. Yeah. So, brilliant. Oh, I said it. Did you not watch my trailer breakdown?
I didn't get to.
Mega professional reviewer. I was like, she's the one with the big tits.
Hey,
I just honestly sometimes I make these videos and I just don't care anymore because I'm like, this trailer doesn't deserve any form of professionalism. I just don't care. Like, I'm watching this, it's garbage. The only good thing is that I recognize this actress, and the only reason I recognize this actress is because apparently she's got massive knockers. I'm like, I'm
Well,
going to
I
point
mean,
it out. I couldn't care less. I'm so super professional reviewer here.
you
Fucking
don't
couldn't care less.
you don't get to call me a misogynist ever again.
Oh, I'm all the misogyny. Up fucking patriarchy right here. Patriarchy. I'm all about the patriarchy. Couldn't care less.
I am the
I'm down for
patriarchy.
that. I'm down for that. Long live the patriarchy. Patriarchy protects women. Patriarchy respects women. Feminists don't respect themselves. Patriarchy should take over. Fuck right off. Anyway, back to the trailer.
Yeah,
But tangent there.
that was a good one. But no, look, Madam Web doesn't look good.
Side note about those books as well. I read the first one because women were all like, "This is so kinky and really hot." So I read it and I was like, "This is the biggest, most softcore, like let down lump of vanilla shite I've read in my life." Honestly,
it's smut. It's smut books.
It's not even smut, mate. It's barely, barely pornographic.
It's a step up from Nora Ephron. So I mean, look,
mate, it's atrocious. Anyway, back to the trailer. It's great content, guys. Back to the trailer.
Yeah. Thanks for stopping in. Okay, so back to the trailer. What really bothers me the most is that this is a Sony film. It looks like, and Tom's right, and everybody else had said this, and I know I've said this, but it looks like generic Sony fare. It looks like
doesn't it?
Morbius, right? It looks not Morbius. Yeah, Morbius.
Yes, Morbius.
Yeah. I mean, it's like you are 3 steps down from the first Venom, and then you're like you're hovering around Morbius, but you could be lower on that, on that scale. It was rough.
Atrocious.
And I know this is a first look, and I know there's going to be more polish, and I know that you can do a lot with color grading, but
don't you just hate, mate? They're not going to change anything. Behave, son. They're literally not going to change anything. It's fucking Sony. Don't you just hate as well how all these new trailers, the new theme of trailers is a pre-trailer to the trailer you're literally watching right now. Trailer starts now. Yes, I know, dipshit. I'm on the trailer. I've tuned in to the trailer. I'm aware it's about to start.
I know why, teacher. I know why.
Go on then.
Can I tell you why, teacher? Okay, because that is for when they make it an ad on YouTube and other video outlets. You have the 5-second clip in the front to let people know that if you stick around, you could see the trailer. Otherwise, you're going to click skip and go fucking next.
Right. What did you think of Madam Web trailer?
Don't care, don't want one. I don't need Spider-Man with tits.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
That's your.
Can you see my face?
Yes.
That's the way I feel about
it. Your eyebrows or something. What's going on?
Oh no, it's the lighting. It's the lighting.
You got red marks on your face, mate.
Oh, it's because I got sleep apnea and I got this mask and my skin's real sensitive.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Now you made him
wonder why I don't go on screen.
We're all on camera. Don't leave. Come on.
He was self-conscious. You ruined his self-esteem. Oh my god.
Oh no. Well, anyway, it's garbage trailer. Doesn't it look like something out of the 2000s? And loads of people are like, "Well, that's really good. Those movies were really good." Yeah, not now. Come on now.
Look, Spider-Man has a lot of Sims, okay? And some of them just can't get past the fact that we already got one. We don't need another one, especially with tits.
Well, Sydney Sweeney, she got some pretty big ones, mate.
Doesn't matter. And I just like Dakota Johnson. I could give a shit about her. Whoever said she was a movie star.
She's terrible. The worst narration at the start of that ever. So bad. So bad. Like
50 Shades of Lame.
Yeah. Awful. Absolutely awful. There you go. We've do you have anything else to say about the Madam Web? Are you excited for Madam Web? When's it releasing?
No. Next year.
When next year?
I think. Let me see here.
I want to say it's in the
February 14th. It's going up against.
This is early for marketing for that. Then.
Yeah, that other movie it's going up against now. What was one they just moved to the other one they moved to Valentine's Day next year? Culture.
I don't remember, but I
This
think
is
I
released on Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah.
well, and think they also moved something to get out of that area and move it to where Deadpool 3 was. That happened yesterday too.
Oh,
What was that?
goodness me.
Yeah, they're still moving stuff around. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Valentine's Day specifically is going to be a hot mess. And I don't know that that's a date movie. Maybe. You
Well,
think that's a date movie?
What? Madam Web? Madam Web's not a date movie.
Oh, okay.
You think it's a date movie?
Why not?
Why not?
50 Shades of Spider-Man.
Because it looks like crap. That's why not.
50 Shades of Spider-Man. Come on, get into it. Maybe
No.
there's some softcore S&M in this film.
There's probably not, though, is there?
I'm trying to get you
I'll bet
excited.
you anything, right? I'll bet you anything.
Oh, you're right.
I'll bet you softcore S&M's not going to get me excited. I bet you anything that we don't see those costumes in the movie. They don't actually wear those costumes. That's just a vision of the future.
I see what you're saying.
I bet you.
It opens up against Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. There was another movie, I swear, that just moved into that spot too. Unless this is the one I'm thinking of. But no, I get what you're saying, Mr. H. I don't think we're going to see them in any real superhero-ish form all that much. And no, I don't need the little girl Avengers Spidey team.
Yeah, accurate. It looks like poo. Not interested. This will flop harder than the Marvels, I reckon.
Is it ironic then that it's coming out on the same day as Pooh?
That is funny. I like that.
Oh bother! I'm
Sideshow
going to have to poo all over them.
Yeah, this is Sideshow Amy. This is why we're getting this movie.
It's adjunct too.
That was terrible.
She is rocked up on something all the time, like either coke or meth or heroin. She's just
all of the above.
Oh man.
Oh. Yeah,
they're probably all prescription too. So she's probably on like, what do you call it? Adderall, Oxycontin, and God knows what else. So it's all prescribed shit. But yeah, you're probably right.
Terrible.
All you gotta do is watch a 5-minute interview with that lady to see she is not all there.
Oh
no, God no. She's barely functioning in our stratosphere.
Well, and she was running the studio. She was running Sony.
Well, I reckon the assistants probably were more than her.
Yeah.
But anyway, there you go. Madam Web, hot takes from the H-Cast. Where you been, Tom? What's been going on, mate?
I was getting ready for my trip. I got to take here in about an hour, so I'm actually not sure how long I can even stay.
He's going to go meet. He's going to go meet more important people than us, Mr. H.
Well, I don't know about that. I'm meeting friends. I'm meeting other people in the fandom. It's a fan meetup in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, good to have you here anyway for a little bit. Yeah. Let's get us some super chats real quick before we shuffle on to our first topic. So, Chaos Sonic for $5 says totems are humans that have animal abilities, usually given by animal deities. And big example are Moon Knight, and Black Panther, and apparently a random spider, I guess. Because the guy in that is given abilities by a spider totem or some shit.
Man, they really destroyed Moon Knight. I'm still pissed. It is a year old, and I'm still pissed about Moon Knight. So,
it wasn't very good. What's your first thought? Sent in $5 Canadian. Says fun fact. Stan Lee's wife voiced the original Madam Web from the 90s.
Oh wow!
Did not know that. That is an interesting.
Excelsior.
Yeah, that is interesting. Hemorrhoid Hurts sent in $2.99 Australian dollar reduce. Says shat. The past tense of shite. English is great. Yeah.
I am the shat.
Oh,
I am the shit.
Okay.
Chaos Sonic for another $5 says Spider-Man is sort of like a totem, but it is a long story. But Ezekiel in this movie is more like Morlan, the enemy of all totems in the multiverse.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to go out on a limb and say they probably don't do any of that. I reckon they'll just do is mystically involved with.
Isn't one of those Isn't one of the spider chicks like the one that also bit Peter Parker? That's part of this. Fest?
That one of those spider women supposedly got bit by the same spider, but guess what? I don't care. We already got one. I am so sick of superhero families, right? Well, it's just
Well, they never do them
ridiculous.
right. That's the thing. They never do
Spider
them right.
chick,
They always try to do
spider
them, but they never do them right. So, Kelechi, sorry, Oki, for $2 says Sony does this to retain the rights of Spider-Man. Is this a rights retainer?
No, yes and no. Like this goes back because they had that gap. They had that gap where they were about to lose the rights, and they made a last minute deal with Disney, aka Marvel, to give up all the toy rights so they could keep the film rights. And so for the Amazing Spider-Man films, Sony didn't see a dime of any of those toy sales. And then when it came to the Spider-Man MCU deal, to sweeten the pot there, Disney gave them a portion, I don't know how big of a portion, of the Spider-Man No Way Home, Homecoming, and Far From Home toy sales. And I'm assuming any Spider-Man toys from Civil War or whatever too, they probably got a piece of. But
well, and also,
but at this point, they have made so many Spider-Man movies, they have to not make one for 10 years to worry about losing the rights again, I think is how it works. It's either 5 or 10 years. I can't remember which. Somewhere in between there, maybe even 7, something like that. I can't remember the exact term.
I know that Disney is grateful for that deal because it allowed them to use Spider-Man in their stuff. So they have a one for you, one for me.
It might even be as less as 4 years. I could be wrong.
I think you're right. I think I remember it being like 6 or 7 years, if I remember right, because they wanted.
Yeah, because there was whatever the span was between Spider-Man 3 and Amazing Spider-Man. They were like right on the cusp of losing the rights.
Oh, there we go, my dude.
But there's a lot of loopholes that were put into it because it was a shit deal made back when or whatever. Hey, Tyler.
Yeah. Tyler Reeves been a member for 29 months. Thank you so much, chap. As a member, you do get a free monthly super chat. So again, please do join. Who is going to be our first joining member of the stream, and who? Because you can gift them as well. Who's going to gift some memberships?
Hello,
Mr. H and panel. Have a great day. Well, thank you so much. Do appreciate it. And I've got to get to this one just before we shuffle on, because it was a big donation. But D sent in 50 Australian dollar dues. So again, had to get to that. Thank you so much. It says Tom is here. You're now demonetized. Here to help. Long live the Hcast. Long live dumb stuff. Grace says you missed that. Be nice if we got an R-rated Venom Carnage movie, but Madam Web movie everyone was asking for. Christ, yeah, I know. So that is right. Our Dema dude is we do heavy demonetization here, so. That is why I say super chats really do help out. So thank you so much. But yeah, Madam Web, that ain't it, Chief. No one was asking for that. No one was asking for that at all. So.
And another massive gift just came in there. You asked for.
Oh wow, yeah, Tyler Reeves did 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, man. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Incredibly generous.
Excuse me. Sorry. I'm trying to mute the microphone before I cough. I don't always get it, so I am sorry about that.
Yeah.
Oh, so how long we got you for, Tom? I'll try and figure out what we're gonna.
I might stick around for at least another half hour at the most. I shouldn't wait too much longer than that. Shouldn't push it too much longer than that.
All right. Well, with that
rushing myself.
With that information, Tom.
We saved this for you. We saved this for you.
What do we say?
The one you're going to pick.
What one? No. You don't know what I'm going to pick.
I don't know. I put him in order. Did I put him in order?
Oh, no. I was going to do something which I think will get him to rant about.
All right. So. Okay. That'll be fun. Okay. Make Tom mad. It'll be a good time. That's always. All right.
Pastor Pascal is Mr. Fantastic.
Did you hear this? Did you hear
as soon as we got done with our show, I was so pissed.
Give me a hot take.
I'm not as hard on. I'm not as hard in this as most people are. Because here's the thing with
Right.
Pedro Pascal, or Pastor Pascal, as I call him.
I think he's a good
Name on it.
actor, just not as Reed Richards.
That's the problem. Is like I hate him as an individual. Fucking hate him as a person. But everything I've seen him in, god damn if he isn't a good actor. Even in Wonder Woman, he's the best part. Right?
Yeah.
Like I love him in that Nicolas Cage movie. He manages to, no matter what he's in, I go, you know, I can't stand him as an individual, but that he finds a way to transcend that, unlike Brie Larson and some other people where he just cannot disconnect. With him, I could disconnect. And you know what? I don't care about the race factor. He is pretty close to the right age range. I think he can pull it off. Is there better choices out there, though? Yes. There's probably much better choices out there. I know why they did it. He's a name. It also diversifies the cast a little bit. But it kind of probably gives us an idea of where the rest of the age of the cast is going to fall into too, maybe. So
no, because apparently Vanessa Kirby is still going to be
who?
This chick, Vanessa Kirby.
Who? What is she in?
She was the blonde chick in Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Okay, and how old is she? What's the problem with the age there?
Nothing.
She looks a lot.
She's smoking hot.
30s.
Well, that's age appropriate then, because Mr. Fantastic was always like 10 years older or 15 years older or whatever it was than Sue.
Oh, okay.
That was always a big point of contention, was people are always like, oh, he was macking on her when she was a teenager or whatever. It's like, no, he had no interest in women and she just loved him forever. And then finally, by the time they got to be adults, he noticed her. That was about it. But yeah.
Well, so for those that don't know, ladies and gents, Pedro Pascal is essentially confirmed to be Reed Richards. It's a rumor at this point. Deadline actually sort of broke it. I guess it was their exclusive. No, it wasn't. No,
actually, it hit through Screen Rant. I think was the first ones to break it.
Yeah, sorry.
And Deadline and the others backed it up. Yeah.
The other Deadline thing I've got is their exclusive. That's my bad. I'm normally a bit more on the ball with this, but basically, some people are saying he's eyed to play Reed Richards. Some people are saying he's 100% cast. Jeff Snyder of the Hot Mic podcast is he's cast, and apparently Javier Bardem is eyed to play Galactus, which I'm gonna say I really like that casting because he's going to be a full CGI creation. So you've just got to remember it's going to be his voice. And Javier Bardem's voice, imposing. There's a cold calculation to it. If you ever watched him in No Country for Old Men, you know he can do subdued. You know, he's a great actor.
I am Galactus.
Really like Javier Bardem.
Don't look at my haircut.
Oh yeah, bloody insane. But I actually really like that casting. I really like.
That's fine.
No, I think that's really good. I actually don't.
So they're not going to have him take human form at all, like they did Kurt Russell. Then is what you're saying. That's why I figured they casted Bardem. I'm like, okay, I can see that.
Well, I can't imagine so, because apparently, according to Jeff Snyder, it's more. So Jeff Snyder apparently already knew about Pedro Pascal being cast, but couldn't release the info. He says it wasn't clear if Pascal would be able to do Fantastic Four due to a busy schedule. Apparently can. Snyder also adds that Pedro Pascal's Fantastic Four concept art already exists, which if true, Marvel's moving quickly along. So it said Adam Driver and Jake Gyllenhaal were wanted for the role. Apparently they're too expensive for Marvel, because
both of them would have been better choices.
Yeah, significantly better. Prior to the strike, Snyder says Marvel conducted Reed Richards screen tests with Christopher Abbott and Jamie Dornan, but they were a disaster. So following the screen test that didn't do well, it's claimed Marvel realized they needed a big name actor. Pedro Pascal's not a draw like that.
No.
He's a good actor, but he's not a draw. So they've screwed that up. Apparently, Sue Storm is still the clear lead. So, yeah. So the funny thing is, it's also said Vanessa Kirby is playing Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn is Human Torch, Ebon Moss Backrack as the Thing. And that's when Feige learned that the cast was way too white, according to Snyder's insider, and they decided to use Reed Richards as a way to diversify the cast. So they hired Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Diversity. So regarding Galactus, Snyder claims Javier Bardem is being eyed to play the role in a part comparable to Josh Brolin's Thanos. However, Snyder isn't sure if Bardem is getting the part or if Antonio Banderas will still get the role. So they're like full steam ahead. We want the Latin.
Are we sure
Latin
this is Galactus and not Doctor Doom?
Well, they say Galactus.
Yeah, I know, but I'm sitting here going.
Apparently,
them or
Snyder says Sue Storm is the clear lead of the film. So that goes with the rumors that we had before, basically.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I could be wrong, but it just seems like to me you're going to cast somebody like that. You don't get him as Galactus. You get, especially Antonio Banderas. Like I could see him being Doctor Doom.
I can't see him being Doctor Doom because he's no offense to him, a great actor. He's bloody old now. He's bloody old. I don't see him being Doctor Doom. I don't think he.
You could be right. Well, then who the fuck do they have then? Because
I don't think
be a chick.
I don't think Doctor Doom even bothered. I don't think they're bothering with Doctor Doom for this.
Oh yeah, they will.
Put a chick in it. Make her gay.
Well, they have to. They're going to have to. They got to start tying stuff in so we get X-Men and stuff like that. But this is definitely not going to be the first family of Marvel that needs.
They don't have to. Let's be honest.
Well, all right.
This is Marvel at the moment, and they're terrible. So you're giving them too much credit. Oh, they've got to. No, they don't.
You're right.
You're giving them way too much credit at this point in time. I think.
Why are they? Seriously, Disney is chasing Lionsgate for for being, a bomb factory at this point. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I just don't. God.
What do you think about the casting then?
I'm not a fan. I mean, it's fine. Age-wise, yes, he is appropriate. Yes, all that's true. And he is a good actor, but he's not a big name actor, as you stated. And he also looks nothing like Reed Richards. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 100 other guys. I mean, Krasinski. I mean, had you not done dumb crap with him, would have been a better choice by miles. And I don't care what the ethnic makeup is of the characters. That was the ethnic makeup of those characters to begin with. Then this is where they always end up getting pushback, because you don't have the same look or feel to any of the things in this universe, and you're gonna alienate more viewers, customers, whatever you want to call us. I mean, is there a chance I'm going to go see this movie? Probably not. I think I've almost officially noped out on Marvel, and the only way that I'll go to them is if you make me, or if Tom and Andre make me. I think I may be done.
Well, that's the unfortunate nature of doing this. We will have to watch them. But the thing is, you are right, is that, I mean, if this is all true, they've screwed the pooch, because this will be the Marvels all over again, because people are disenfranchised with Marvel enough as it is, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter whether you get Pedro Pascal in the lead or not. You're then going to have a trailer which will have the slightest whiff of this Vanessa Kirby, Sue Storm being the lead, and people will go, nope.
No.
Yeah. Nope. I'm done. And however, if they were to frame it with a bit more tits and ass with Vanessa Kirby, then men would go, yep, I'll have a watch of that. But they're not going to do that because they're Marvel. They're way too weak. They're impotent. And it's just going to be the Marvels all over again. It will mainly be men that watch this anyway. But men aren't going to go out and force and watch it. No. So it will literally be the Marvels all over again.
Yeah.
Well, the reason I'm not getting all emotional like you want me to is I just don't give a fuck anymore about Marvel.
But that's important as well to note, is apathy is set in, not just for you, but for the vast majority of people.
Yeah.
So what you're feeling is it's perfectly right to showcase it, because that is a perfect representation of the vast majority of people. Just apathy, complete apathy towards this garbage. And as you aptly put with the South Park thing, put a chick in it, make her lame and gay.
Yeah,
that is rinse, repeat. That's what they want to do nonstop.
Yeah, and it's frustrating. I mean, and that's the nicest way to put it. It just so many of these things are being ruined for no reason.
Well, I think that's putting it lightly, isn't it? Really frustrating, ruined.
Yeah,
that's a light way of putting it.
Yeah, I'm polite. Don't tell anybody.
You are. Thanks. You are. Well, there we go. I think we can shuffle on with that now.
Oof.
There's not much else we're going to say, is there? To be fair.
Get back to those wonderful supers. People are dropping bombs today. Awesome.
Yeah, they are. It's a lot of support today. So, Gypsy Danny Mixboy for $1.99 says should have been Raid John Wick style Silk movie instead.
Oh yeah, Silk would have worked out
Yeah.
great. Yeah. That's a good
They've
take.
cancelled a lot of that stuff anyway that they were doing, wasn't it? They were doing like Silver Sable and all these other.
Oh yeah, we had
random-
what was that? The Sinister
Cancelled all
Six,
this.
right? That was the Avari
Fucking hell,
Arad
they keep trying to do that.
Ari Vavar. I can't say that guy's name.
They keep trying to do that. It's always
Yeah.
going to.
Oh hey, Andre's here.
Yeah, Andre, how you doing, good sir?
Hey, greetings. I'm doing good. Sorry about the delay, but it was unavoidable.
That's all good. We're just getting through some super chats before we shuffle on to our next topic. So Bayona Rad sent him £5. Says, why is Sony still bringing out Madam Web if they have saw box office flop for the Marvels? Well, because it's done, isn't it? It's in the can, so they have to, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, you are right. I mean, they
Yeah.
must be shitting themselves now that they watch the Marvels, the box office response to that.
The funny thing is the timing of the trailer. That
No,
was
it
kind
was-
of like the point of the video that we dropped earlier today. Because here you have the Marvel's flop is fresh on everyone's mind. You now have industry pundits that are openly questioning how far they have gone with female representation in the MCU. Even Grace Randolph, many here like to have fun with, even she is saying they've gone way too far and none of their female characters are connecting with the audience. Against that backdrop is when they drop the trailer for their Madam Web, their generic Spider Women in another all-female team. I mean, I can see why they thought it was a brilliant idea to begin their marketing campaign with dropping that trailer in conjunction with the Marvels. They couldn't change it because they have designed the whole campaign around it. But obviously it's going to backfire because now it's bad for the movie and it's bad for the Marvel brand because just hammers in, oh, you didn't like all these women? Well, there's plenty more to go with both Echo and Disney Plus followed on Valentine's Day with this thing.
Terrible. Dark Hierophant sent in $2, says Master of the Universe and G.I. Joe should be easy. Nothing good yet. What the fuck? Yes, covered that absolutely over on Tuesday. Does this dress make my ass look big for $5? Says good morning. In case you haven't heard, The Abyss has a one night only theatrical showing on December 6th with tickets going on sale November 20th. I did hear that. Interesting thing for him to randomly do.
No, it's not.
You don't know why?
Because they've been working on the 4K masters of The Abyss, Titanic, Aliens, and Avatar for years now. They're dropping on digital December 12th, and then they're all coming out on disc March. And Abyss has already been shown to a few people, and I believe it's also the anniversary of The Abyss. That's another reason why probably. But from what I've been hearing, sadly, he has gone in like Ted Turner used to with colorizing films, and he's scrubbed out all of the grain of all of his films. So, yay, we get rubber people.
That?
Because James Cameron loves to do that stupid shit.
But that's one of the people
Some
add
movies
film
need
grain
to
on
be
digital
protected
now.
from their directors.
Oh, what an idiot!
Peter Jackson is
one
the
of
same
those.
way. George Lucas is another one who loves to do it. I just got American Graffiti last week, and everybody looks like they're plastic because they scrub out all of the grain, and because they think that kids don't like grain because they think it makes movies look old. And it's like all you're doing is make everything look smudgy.
It makes it look cinematic. Grain's great. Oh dear. I'm
really worried about Alien because that was a very grainy film. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. Because it was dark as well. So the blacks and stuff like that with the grain, it looks right. But you're recoloring it, then you remove the grain. It's going to look almost like a sitcom type style. Ugh. Not good.
That's another thing he keeps experimenting with is adding extra frame rate to his films. He did it to
Oh, I
Titanic.
hate that so much. Fuck off with extra frame rate. Anyway, Chaos Sonic for $5 says basically Sony screwed up Madam Web by making Ezekiel the villain, as it is like making Splinter the villain in TMNT in terms of Spider-Man. I did not know this, so yeah, that is garbage. That's I can understand that comparison. So yeah, that sucks. Absolute pile of poo. Never mind. We will continue super chats in a minute, guys. We've got to shuffle off to our next topic, which I think you guys will enjoy. So yeah, away we go. That is stellar. I love that. We're going to see that again. That is great.
Who's Stella? That's Rachel Zegler.
Oh, that is brilliant. Well, if you didn't know, ladies and gents, the next flop on the theatrical release window is Hunger Games. Yeah, it's not looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Not looking good at all. Not a surprise, though, but pretty bad. So according to estimates, the new Hunger Games will open at the box office as the lowest of the franchise, with a similar opening to that with the Marvels, around $47 million, which is very bad when you compare the previous movies. Took $100 million, $152 million, $158 million, 121.8, and then 102.6. And that is a significant time span ago. So adjusted for inflation, this is terrible as an opening weekend.
It's also tremendously interesting, but I'll get back to that. I heard you weren't finished, so
yeah, no. So it's also got an awful Rotten Tomatoes score, which will compare like for like. So again, 2012's original Hunger Games 84% compared with this one's 59%, then 90%, then 70%, then 70%. So abysmal. The only thing it's got going for it is it had a relatively small budget of about $100 million. Now, we can't actually put a figure on that. I don't know where this figure's come from. There's nothing officially released. If it is $100 million, they've done very well of putting that on screen, because on screen it looks significantly more expensive. I'm going to say that's probably not right.
Yeah.
It looks much more money than $100 million. But stranger things have happened. And it's not like they've got big name talent where they're having to pay a significant amount of money for people's wages. So it may be that it was around that number, but I struggle to believe it, and I don't know where that figure's come from. But let's just say that is correct. It's $100 million. And then they've spent, $50 million on marketing, because they haven't spent much on marketing this film. This film still needs to make over $300 million to break even. And you know what? At this rate, it's probably not going to do that. Even if it's $100 million, it's probably going to be more. So this will be another in a string of massive flops for Rachel Zegler, who has starred in nothing but flops. Her films are all flops. Every single one has lost money for the studio. But, Andre, you wanted to say something.
yeah, I've made this point before, because to me, it's very, very interesting what's going to happen with this movie, because the original was a young adult film, and the young adult genre was big when the original came out a little more than a decade ago. That was kind of like the prime of all things young adult, right? So the target audience were tweens of the early to mid 10s, right? The target audience for that movie are now in their late 20s on average, mid to late 20s to early 30s. That's the age of the target audience that went and made those movies such big hits. Now, are they still nostalgic about the Hunger Games, or have they long since moved on and couldn't care less about the franchise? That to me was interesting, because my theory was that thing left no cultural footprint, and there's very little nostalgia for it, even among those that grew up with it. But that was just a theory of mine. I had no evidence to back that up either way. What we have here is some level of evidence. If this thing really opens to only 40 million, which, how much would that be if we compare with the first one that in 2012 opened to 150 million? How much would that be in 2023 dollars? Close to 200 million?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so that means if we bulk that up, we are now comparing something that opened to close to two, so to say 180 million then, to
Yeah, yeah.
something that now opens to 40 million. What that means is that the vast, overwhelming majority of the audience are gone. Those that went to see the originals have no nostalgia for this because they're not interested in
They've also
these
kind of aged out,
Andre.
Andre, if you think
Yeah,
about it.
well, that exactly. But who has aged into it? It
Nobody.
was a fad at
It
the
wasn't
time.
like Harry Potter, right? Like it
No,
didn't gain
exactly.
any
Yeah.
momentum.
The entire young adult genre was a fad. It's the kind of thing you're going to age out of. And at the same time, it is so specific to that period that there's no one that's going to age into it. So you don't have any fresh supply of new audiences.
I actually have a
And
good
that's
comparison.
yeah, and that's kind of like what we're seeing right now. The people that made this a hit in 2012 to 2017, whenever the original movies were, they're not coming back for this for the most
Yeah.
part, and they haven't been
Mm.
replenished by any new generations either. Hence these numbers. Tom, what was your comparison?
Well, it kind of reminds me, you got to think of Harry Potter like Ninja Turtles. It was like when you had all these young adult novels, every studio was trying to make one of those after Harry Potter hit it big. But like Ninja
Yeah.
Turtles had all these copycats, right? So, you know, like the Maze Runner, the Hunger Games, all these other young adult novels did not hold on to the footprint they had like Harry Potter did. Harry Potter was the only one that sustained an audience and gained an audience as it moved on. Kind of like Ninja Turtles did, but like Biker Mice from Mars and all the other copycats, they're street sharks. Who gives a fuck about them no more, right? Like nobody even cares
Mate.
about half of them or heard
Well,
about them. I know you
speak
love
for
your
yourself.
street sharks, Mr. H, but I had
No,
to throw
Biker
that
Mice
in there.
from Mars. I don't care about Street Sharks. Biker Mice from Mars, though.
Yeah, but does anybody but you know who they are? Like really?
Show of
Let's be
hands.
real.
Show of hands in the chat. Who cares about Biker Mice from Mars? Come on, guys. In the
Anyway,
chat.
point being is you had a bunch of ripoffs and wannabes, right? And you know, for
No, you
every
are right.
Divergent and you know all these other things, like nobody cares about the Hunger Games anymore. And this is going to turn out worse than the speaking of Harry Potter, worse than the prequels to those, because that's what this is. Who cares, right? Those lasted 2.5 movies, and the interest was in the cast in those. I don't see any interesting cast members in this. Peter Dinklage, maybe? I don't know.
I don't think anyone cares about him now, anyway.
I
basically.
don't
No.
think that. I mean, he's not even that big in the dwarf community, and that's a very small community.
Oh,
Puns intended there.
wow. Swinging big swings. Look, the film, because I went and looked it up, Andre, because that's what I do. The film opened in 2012 to 152 opening weekend, 152 million. And that in today's dollars is 203.6 million.
Also, it's even worse. So basically,
Yeah.
this one is coming in at 40 million for something that used to open to 200 million. So basically, that means it's coming in at what, 20% of the budget thereabouts, or 20% of the original opening weekend, meaning 80% of the audience is gone.
Well, and here's the strangest thing.
80% of the audience is gone.
Production costs, though, Andre, and this is the thing, production costs have only gone up on these films across the entire board. The first film was only 80 million to make. Then it was 130 million to make the second one, 125 million to make the third one, although that's arguable. And then the part two, or the fourth film, was $160 million. Now, they've also had a steep decline after the second movie. on their opening weekend. They went down to 121, and then the part 4, or the second part of the third movie, was 102 million on its opening weekend. So it had a steady decline in total box office earnings. So this thing became popular on video after the first film, and then it went downhill progressively from the second film on across the board. But the production costs escalated. You're not telling me that this film was $100 million. I don't
But
believe you.
It's Deadline that said that, apparently.
Yeah, I don't believe them.
I don't believe that either. I don't
Yeah,
know where they're getting it from.
Yeah, it's probably from Nia DaCosta, who doesn't know how to tell you what a budget of her film is. So who knows?
Mm.
That was a
Probably
joke.
doesn't know.
Oops, and take the lid off.
Yeah, I don't understand Deadline saying it cost around $100 million. Nah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not believing that. Not believing that at all. Well, anyway, it's going to bomb. It's a sign of the box office, just in general these days, in terms of the trajectory of Hollywood. I wonder, will they learn?
No.
Will they learn this gynocentric focus on films? Will they learn?
Ooh, that's fancy. Gynocentric.
That's true.
Science.
Come on now, you know I've got my vocabulary out.
I know. The
What
rest
do we
of
think,
us are
Andre?
just.
Will they learn? Oh, Andre's dead.
Andre's dead.
Will they
Andre is
learn?
back. So my internet
there
just
we go.
glitched for a second there. What did you say?
I said, will they learn with this gynocentric focus of Hollywood?
I think, you know what? I think they will learn, but the problem is that it's going to take years before they have the opportunity to do so. Because now we're going to have a lot of gynocentric flops in a short order. And that is going to change the green lighting decisions starting from right now. I mean, whatever female gynocentric team-up movie was being pitched this week and next week and the week after that ordinarily would have gotten a yes and a green light if they had been pitched before. They're going to be shut down and cancelled right now. And also many things that may be in development, but that were delayed because of the strike and stuff, they'll never carry on. And yeah, stuff that haven't been greenlit, but that's being pitched right now, they might as well not even show up to the pitch meetings because the answer is going to be no regardless. But there's still 2-3 years worth of things in various stages of production that is still coming. Some things are so far along that they can't be shut down, so they will be coming out. Case in point, like the Madam Web, it's going to come out no matter what, because Sony, they can't afford not to release it. They've invested too much money in it not to release it. So it's going to come out and it's going to bomb, and it's going to just further the message that this is not what the audience wants, and the audience is done with this. And it's also going to lead to some confusion after Barbie, because I'm sure that after Barbie, and maybe here the strikes would have helped them out a little bit, because after Barbie, that is when they normally would have greenlit a ton of more female-centric projects. The only reason that may not have happened is because they were on strikes. There couldn't be like any pictures or anything like that, right? That may have bailed them out, because all the messages of Barbie, that's forgotten right now. That's completely forgotten. This thing right here, Revolve of Marvel, that's going to be far more impactful. They're going to see right away. Barbie was a fluke. Now, I hope that many will remember that Barbie was successful, not because it was all about girl power, but because it was an actual girl brand, rather than a male brand being repurposed into a girl brand. Because that's what these flops are. If they're smart enough to remember that, they may have a chance. But we'll be seeing a ton less female-centric movies 2-3 years from now.
We better, because this is Garbaggio. And if you notice, they don't have this girl. J-Law is not in this movie. It is not a thing. And the lady
She's not
they
getting
have in this film, huh?
She's not going to get naked then.
No. If you want to see that, no hard feelings. Yeah.
I
But
liked
anyway,
that movie.
I'm sure
and,
there was no. I'm sure there was
yeah.
no hard feelings in the audience when they saw her naked. To be honest,
no, I think they were fine with it. But honestly, she is not there.
you didn't get it.
And
That was an erection joke. For goodness sake.
of course, I got it. I just moved along. I mean,
What?
low hanging fruits there. Yeah.
You're nuts.
Well, I will
That's
give
what I
her
said.
credit. Like, I mean, granted, everyone had seen her naked already because of like the fappening picture.
Everyone ever
Fappening.
seen Rachel Zegler naked as well.
Oh yeah. Ugh.
God. Anyway,
Well,
Why is
there's a difference though between the topless pictures that is out of her there and the ones of Jennifer Lawrence. I mean, how's night and day difference?
Well, I don't know. I didn't look
No
at
wise.
Jennifer Lawrence. Anyway,
No
let's shuffle on because I know Tom, you actually need to leave, don't you, buddy? So.
In a little bit here, yeah, I should get rolling here, so I'm not rushing myself too much. Yeah.
Well, we'll start some super chats, and you say when you need to go, and before we get on to the next topic, we'll say cheerio to you. How about that?
Sounds good.
So Zephyr sent him $5 Canadian. Says if the script is as MCU as we hear, maybe they're picking Pedro because he won't mind being emasculated the way a lot of other actors would. That is completely right, actually.
Yeah,
that is
well
a
done.
very astute observation, Zephyr. Is that we had rumors that Adam Drive was not happy with the script constantly with Fantastic Four because of that element, because he'd obviously suffered it with Star Wars. So you're actually, I reckon you're bang on the money there, mate.
Absolutely.
We'd also just bring in Nick here. How you doing, chap?
Cheers, guys.
Hey, Nick.
Nice to have you on, buddy.
Hey, Nick.
Nice to have you on.
He's already drinking.
He's already.
Man, I have had an insane morning or afternoon, morning and afternoon. So yeah, I was like, oh, I need to fix a drink.
There you go. Just getting on it.
Yeah.
Big Al Games sent him £5. Says hot take. The Thing's costume and actor performance in the first two Fantastic Four movies are great and still hold up today. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Anyone else agree with that?
I like the first one. The second one was okay.
Are we talking about Roger Corman first one? Or are we talking
we're talking about Corman and
Chickless?
Story, I should imagine.
Yeah, Chickless. I think.
You know what? I agree. I actually agree. Michael Chiklis as the Thing and the costume. I thought it was really, really good. And I also think that going with the costume as opposed to a CGI creature was the completely right choice. And I would hope that
era,
yeah, for sure. I mean, for instance, if you just look at the Thing in the Fantastic movie from 2015. I mean, he looked like a piece of shit. I mean, he looked like the Golgothan shit demon from Dogma, quite literally. The performance by Michael Chiklis was so much better. Now, I don't remember in detail the performance of whoever played the Thing in the Roger Corman movie, but I'm sure that too probably was better than that drivel we got from Joey Elliott. What's he called again? That dancing kid.
Oh, I don't know. I know
Billy Elliott.
Billy Elliott.
Yeah. Like he's the dude who played the Thing in the 2015
in the last one,
movie. I mean, he was just awful and everything. It wasn't his fault because they were all miscast, every last one of them. Because Josh Trank, he wanted to cast against type because fuck everyone, because they bullied him as kids. And then he just wanted everyone to see, oh, wow, he did something completely unexpected and it worked. Of course, what happened was that he did something completely unexpected. It didn't work. That's why his career is completely over by now. Yeah, no, I agree. So big AI games, I don't think it's a hot take so much as it is a simple statement of fact.
There you go. You got someone on your side there, mate. No, I agree. The costume, not bad. I haven't seen it for a while though, so I'm not going to say it hugely holds up.
And on the previous super chat, I mean Pedro Pascal. I mean, from what we've heard, by the time they got to him, they were scraping the bottom of the barrel because we know that Adam Driver was someone that they wanted, but apparently it was a much longer list of high-profile talents, names that we have never heard, that were offered the role, but that didn't accept it for those reasons. The character is gonna be cucked, and if I were to make a guess, he's gonna be evil by the end of it.
Yeah. Well, multiverse, isn't it? So they can just bring in a new one. So
yeah, because for instance, this is something that happened in the Ultimate Fantastic Four comics. Reed Richards turned out to be the most evil motherfucker in that entire universe the whole time.
Dear, oh dear.
That could be a reason why apparently Sue Storm is the lead and not him.
Well, we know why, but yeah, that'd be another reason why. But yeah, Andrew Esty sent in £9.99, says, "Good evening, gentlemen. I hope you're all blessed and well. What's your favorite Bond villain? Mine is Franz Sanchez, License to Kill, and Max Zorin, View to Kill. Jaws. I love a bit of Jaws.
That's mine.
Jaws is
Jaws.
epic.
Yeah.
And Odd Job. Love a bit of Odd Job and Jaws. Two brilliant Bond villains. I guess they're henchmen, but they're still villains. And you can't beat Jaws. Jaws had a happy ending as well, didn't he?
He did. I was so happy with that.
Funny.
It was amazing.
Funny.
It's just it was just like too bad it happened so early because they could have used him in like 2 or 3 more movies.
Agreed.
Richard Kiel was like so charismatic in that role. But then you went out with what she was like Mr. Bean's girlfriend, wasn't she? And it was like perfect, like just the height difference, everything. So I agree. Since I'm talking anyway, if we're going with henchmen, Jaws.
Yeah.
But
he says Bond villain
to the villain, to like the main villain, the big baddie. And Andrew, I agree with you. Zorin all the way.
I liked Odd Job, but I'm weird.
I said Odd Job. Odd Job's great.
And I also enjoyed the 2 floaty guys that were in Diamonds Are Forever.
I like Turtle.
Fun. They were so fun, and they're so problematic today because they were gay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're really good.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Nick,
they were floating.
Bond
villain, huh?
God, I've got you stumped there, Nick, mate. Is that alcohol gone to your head already? Christ.
No, I'm just trying to think of somebody other than Jaws that I mean he's a henchman, but villain. I don't know.
I'm gonna take you back to the day.
Scaramanga was one as well, wasn't it?
Scaramanga, yeah, the very first thing. Sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Love a bit of Scaramanga.
I can't think of the villains' names off the top of my head.
Oh,
who was the Asian guy with the top hat? I guess he would be a henchman. Yeah, he would be like a henchman though, right?
Yeah. Oh, never mind. Tom, you got one?
Donald Pleasance.
Oh,
yeah, so basically Blofeld. Blofeld number 2.
Yeah.
I think it was Blofeld number 2. Was it 2 or 3?
I thought he was the first one, but I could be wrong. Yeah, you're right. Maybe. I don't know. I've only seen the first 5 Bond movies, so I can't really answer that.
Maybe he was the first. I mean, there's so many who played Blofeld. I don't even remember. I mean, Telly Savalas was my personal favorite Blofeld, but yeah.
Well, there we go, Andrew, my dude. Thanks for the
that was awesome. Great question. Love it.
WCW sent in $10. Says, for the Jaws fans out there, the Book of Quint is releasing in January. It's about a young Quint, his time on the Indianapolis, and his shark hunting time before Jaws. Told the author about you guys. Oh, wow. Thank you very much.
Interesting.
Awesome.
Is this written by the same guy who wrote the other Jaws books? Is this
Peter Benchley's dead.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Can't possibly be him.
And he only wrote 1 book. The other ones were just adaptations of the sequels.
He did write White Shark, which was later retitled Creature, which
it's written by Ryan Dacko.
Oh, okay.
I just took a quick
I
Google.
was not aware of this movie, but so thank you, the WCW,
Book.
because I
Book.
want to see it now. I can't wait for this.
No,
Book of
book.
Quinn. That's
It's a
going to be
book,
awesome.
Andre, it's a book, not a movie.
They
And I
should
think
make
the
it.
Book
They
of
should
Quinn.
make it into a movie.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay, I thought the movie was called The Book of Quint. Oh, okay.
What's amazing
Right,
is
I see. Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
think it
someone
just-
needs to make a movie of that because I want to
Yeah.
see that movie. Because I was like thinking the first time I saw Jaws, I was like, I want to see that movie.
They tried a few times and it just never came to be.
Yeah. I mean, there's
Well,
been like a few movies about that incident, but they all had the wrong focus and everything.
There you go.
Yeah, and that book literally just came out like yesterday. So.
Yes, yeah, saw that on Google.
Yeah.
D sent in 10 Australian dollar redo, says RIP Comixology. Amazon took it out the back and old yelled it.
Oof.
I was not aware of this. Have they shut it down then?
I heard this was coming.
That's not good for digital comics, is it?
No, that's really, really bad.
Well, it's not, but it shows what the industry is like now, right? That is the state of the industry.
Yeah, it is gone officially in December. Good Lord.
What happens then with digital comics? Because like 95% of digital comics were distributed through Comixology. Isn't that like the main marketplace for digital comics?
Over 200 million digital downloads from Comixology.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, because I'm like, where else are they going to go? I mean, that's going to make it really, really difficult for like indie comics and stuff like that, because like there's very little money in Comixology, let's be honest here, compared to going to bricks and mortar store and picking up your physical copy. Problem is that all of the retail stores, they're closing down because Marvel and DC suck right now, and very few are going there just for manga they can get other ways, right? So what happens then is that the brick and mortars, the comic book retailers, they all close down. The indies are no longer able to get like that foot traffic into the stores, which get recommended their titles and stuff. So the closest thing they have is Comixology. Which like featured or something like that. People seen in the brace. But if Comixology disappears, I mean that's a real bad blow to the comic book industry. Carry on, culture.
No, just I was going to add to that real quick because I don't want us to get too off track. And Aaron actually already mentioned it, but they actually have moved it into the Kindle app now. The only way to access the books you've purchased will be to go through the Kindle app. So it's no longer
bloody annoying, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, again, it's better than losing access to all your digitals. I mean, could you imagine? I mean,
well, that's the point. Don't get digital.
Well, you remember? You guys remember when we lost Ultraviolet, right? That was the digital movie thing, and they rolled that into Roku or Walmart or somebody else ended up.
Voodoo then got bought by Walmart, and then now it's owned by Fandango.
Yeah.
You know what's the irony? The only ones that get to keep that stuff are those that obtained it in a less than legal manner and have it on their own hard drive. Those are the only ones who are able to obtain and keep any of that stuff. That's a problem with digital anything. You're just renting it, including your comic book purchases.
Yeah.
Tom,
do you need to go now?
Yeah, I was just going to say, someone was telling me, though, there's some thing through Apple or whatever, though, that you can use that can download your movies, but I'm not sure what kind of size and format and all that business. But yeah, no, I unfortunately do have to get running here. But thank you for having me as always. Sorry I missed last Tuesday. Hopefully you guys have a great show for the rest of the show. I'll try to be listening in.
See you, Tom.
Awesome. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, have fun. Say hi to everyone.
I will.
Safe journey. Take care now. Bye-bye. Right. So let's breeze through some of this before we move on. Johnny Be Good, $75 says, with Pascal's casting, it's possible they're moving away from Reed being the smartest man in Marvel Universe and giving that trait to Miss Fantastic. I would say that's almost guaranteed. Batter SSL for $2 says, is Logan actually a woke movie? No.
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 I don't think so. Not by any
It goes by this traditional trope
Strong
of
masculine.
the old hero being broken at the final stage of his life and then having his kind of like final redemption. This is something that that the director behind this movie, who also did like Indiana Jones, the most recent one, like that's kind of like his thing. He also did Ford versus Ferrari. He did Copland with Sylvester Stallone. Like, he really specializes in this old broken hero getting redeemed one last time. There's nothing woke about it per se. You can infuse woke elements into it. This is what we saw in The Last Jedi, because there you have that particular trope, but at the same time, they went out of their way to degrade Luke Skywalker and bring out the new female hero, right? That is not what happened in Logan. Yeah, like his daughter is a woman, but that was like that in the comics as well. But she loves and adores him, even though she's just met him. There's very quickly a bond formed between them. He is broken because of what has happened to the world, all the mutants, everything like that. But he remains heroic. When he needs to do the right thing, he will continue to do the right thing. He is never assassinated as a character in the way that he would have been in a woke movie. So no, Logan is not a woke movie. It will have aged worse because of all the other movies that use a similar trope and that are woke, like The Last Jedi. That reflects poorly on Logan, but Logan in itself is not woke. It's actually a really great movie.
Yeah.
There you go. We got one from Frosty12 for $4.99. Says, born in 83, Thundercats, Exo Squad, Dino Riders, and Biker Mice. Fave character was Vinny.
Dino Riders. Yeah, that's
I've said so. We had loads of people say about Biker Mice, so I'm happy about that. It wasn't just me. Wasn't just me. Tom, you're listening. It wasn't just me.
No, I thought it was okay, but I was like, I had just aged out of that kind of thing when it came around. Dino Riders, though, I like Dino Riders when we got that, and I would have seen that at the same time as you, Mr. H, because I got it from the children's channel, which we got.
Yeah, that makes sense. We got one more super chat before we shuffle on. Reginald Matea for $5 says, I honestly think viewers should push for a 4-hour DaCosta cut of Marvels. An odd move, but DC pulled it off with Justice League and it worked. Thoughts? Didn't work. No. I do not want to watch a 4-hour cut of the Marvels. I'd watch a 4-hour cut of Brie Larson getting in and out of a costume for the Marvels, but not a 4-hour cut of the Marvels. No, absolutely, unequivocally, no.
Also,
that movie was fucking garbage.
Also, there doesn't exist a DaCosta cut.
Yeah,
she was always a director for hire. She was there to look good for pictures.
She's a diversity hire, literally.
Yeah, she's a diversity hire. She was a 100% diversity hire. So she was okay. Yeah, now you can get to hold the camera and you get to say shoot and you get to say cut and stuff like that. And now we're gonna need you for a photo shoot. And now we're gonna need you to sign off on this interview with you that we already wrote. You don't have to do anything because these are the talking points. You just have to sign here that you read it and you're going to repeat these things because you're just a diversity hire and you're not the actual filmmaker of this. So she never got to make the movie that she wanted. She was always there to add some diversity to the mix, but the real director of this movie is actually Kevin Feige. This is a Kevin Feige film and a Victoria Alonso film. Probably it's more so a Victoria Alonso film than it is a Kevin Feige film. So what you could get an early work print that would be 4 hours long, which you can get of most movies, whether comic book movie or not, because most filmmakers aren't like, what's the word I'm looking for? They don't have like the self-control needed to actually film the movie that's going to be released right away. Some do. In case of like filmmakers that know self-control. Like one of Tom's favorite example is RoboCop. They only filmed a couple of minutes extra that weren't in the movie because the writer was on set constantly condensing things, decided, okay, we don't need this scene. We can combine these two scenes into one, so that they never filmed any kind of excess material. They didn't need any reshoots because they got everything right away. Whereas in the case of Marvel, because Kevin Feige is actually an incompetent idiot that has just stolen credit and valor from everyone around him. But as is widely known, he makes the movies in post-production because he has no discipline and he can't structure a movie to begin with, which is why they have to be remade after the fact and reshot to high heavens, right? So yeah, you could get a 4-hour unwatchable cut. Would you want that? I'm not so sure.
No, thank you. Well, anyway, we're going to shuffle on to something kind of tangentially related to the Marvels. Who wants a young Avengers, guys? They teased it. They teased Young Avengers.
Hey, I will be there opening night. I've been waiting for this.
I bet you will. You bet you got a T-shirt made ready to go.
Oh God! The continuing of the dumb decisions by Disney Marvel.
Terrible. Young Avengers needs a petition, says Iman Vellani. Sorry, what? I thought they teased it.
Oh, okay. So it's not actually in the works.
No, it's not actually happening. What the fuck did they tease then? So let's take a look at this, right? Does the end scene in the Marvels mean nothing, as Iman Vellani wants fans to create a petition to get the Young Avengers in the MCU? The Ms. Marvel actress also reveals that the Young Avengers scene was changed and additional characters were cut. So how's that for a vote of confidence for the Young Avengers? What on earth is going on? So speaking with Slash Film, she addressed the end credit scene featuring herself with Haley Steinfeld's forming the Young Avengers, which is a goofy spoof of Samuel L. Jackson and, Robert Downey Jr., etc., etc. There was another version where, does it matter if I say it, where there were more characters in it. I will not say which characters, but there were more characters. But that was way before we did additional photography. So they did do reshoots, like we said. We knew we were going to get that scene. It was the last thing we ever shot on the film during additional photography. So yeah, it changed a couple of times. Okay, so there absolutely was additional photography. They absolutely did do reshoots.
Yeah, we know this.
And I think what ended up being, I think just Kamala and Kate Bishop is honestly perfect. They're so compatible. Haley and I got along so well. She's such a fun human to talk to. And honestly, our back and forth, our banter was really funny. And I wish they kept some of that in there because that scene just kept going. Haley and I just kept bouncing off of each other. So I'd be very excited if I ever got to work with her on a legitimate movie after this. So yeah, it's very exciting. And I'm so honored that I get to be the one to bring this entire group together. I think it'd be cool to have a Young Avengers type thing. Team up, big spectacle, obviously in a movie. Yeah, that would be ideal. Hopefully, people can start a petition or something to get them going. What is this?
Oh, that's very interesting.
Now they're petitioning for bad movie ideas?
Apparently.
Yeah. Cultured, you of course know the implication of her asking for a petition.
No, you would have to enlighten me. I mean, if she's looking for a petition, my speculation is that this is not guaranteed by any sense, and literally they're just trying to juice this up. Hi, Jasper. Jasper's more interesting than the Young Avengers. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, he is. He's cuter too.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, Andre. I mean, I don't understand. They just had the biggest flop and failure that they've had in a very long time with an opening for a Marvel film since 2008. So
it's the biggest flop ever.
Why would
ever
they
in MCU history?
Yeah,
well,
literally ever.
Yeah, so for the MCU ever.
Yeah. Well, technically the MCU as it's currently constructed started in 2008. But yeah,
exactly.
that was Iron Man. But no, I look at it and I'm of two minds. The mind in me that wants to buy a boat wants them to make this movie, And the other side of my mind is please stop ruining things. So I'm of two minds.
Well, I just think it's funny that this right here, right, is a symptom of what we've known for quite a while, which is they go from movie to movie and they literally throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. And this is exactly that. They've teased something that they've actually not got 100% planned to even create. They've just gone, we'll just see what the response is. It's fine. We'll just throw it out there. Who cares? We'll just see. This is that in action. That is 100% that in action.
Yeah, because we already know studios do that, like leak stuff out to see what the audience response will be, and
that's how Robert Downey Jr. was cast in the first place.
Yeah.
Ike Perlmutter was against casting him, which you have to understand at the time because he came from baggage.
Yeah.
And they didn't know that he would even be physically capable of completing the movie without going to bed in some children's bedroom and passing out drunk on set, not showing up. These were legit risks at the time. And the only reason it happened was because Jon Favreau leaked it to the press that it was happening. And then everyone was super hyped and excited because he was so perfect for the role. And then he could bring those newspapers and those publications and everything like that to Perlmutter and say, look here, look at the response. And then he's like, okay, I see the proof now. Fine, let's do it.
Trial balloons are nothing new, though. I mean, Disney does them all the time. I mean, with everything now. And oftentimes they get the wrong feedback and they listen to a small niche of people, the super fans, and then they find out that leads them the wrong direction.
You mean they just listen to Twitter, basically?
Generally. Diz Twitter is the most toxic place in the universe, but yeah. Accurate.
I mean, who wants a bloody Young Avengers? You got Ant-Man's daughter, the ACAB fucking supporter. Like, piss off. No one wants to watch, all cops are bastards, bloody Ant-Man daughter light thing, Antifa member, social justice wanker. No one wants to watch that. No one's interested in this total crap.
True story. Nick, I know you're excited.
Man, I hope I'm in the same boat as culture is. Like the part of me that wants my upstairs studio built out wants them to petition this and get this going because this would be internet gold videos right here on this. But the thing is, what would also be internet gold videos is if they did something that everybody liked. That everybody was talking about, saying, "Oh my God, did you see this?" Like, and then everybody's speculating, saying, "What do you think is going to happen in the next installment?" Blah blah blah, whatever. I would much rather be hyped and excited for something, and do it that way than have to just trash on it because it feels like that's the norm these days. Is just for everybody just to trash on everything because all they're doing is giving us trash, Like mix it up and give us something good to talk about, So yeah, this would flop hard, just like the Marvels would. I hope they don't do it, but in another way, if they do, all of us on the internet will monetize it.
I think I have more Captain Marvel videos in me for Miss Marvel, so I'm gonna try to double down on that because this weekend we'll find out just how far it falls. So yeah,
it's gonna drop so hard.
Yeah,
it's gonna crater off of a cliff.
Quick predictions. What percentage do you guys think it's gonna drop this week?
Easy 60-70%.
That's what I was thinking. Like in between 60 and 70.
60% is the average. 60% is the average. So I reckon it might genuinely drop about 70%. That's what I'm thinking.
I mean, the global numbers as of this moment that we're speaking right now, worldwide is only $114 million.
Whoa!
Yeah, really? Worldwide,
but it only did 110 million worldwide over the weekend.
So it's only accrued like 7 million additional millions in the days since the weekend.
Yeah, 4 million.
It's bonkers. I've never seen a film.
It's going to drop more than 70%.
Didn't it?
it fell off a cliff. I don't think I've ever seen a film do this.
Yeah. So I was actually looking at my local theater here where you can like select your own seats. And so I was looking at a prime time viewing of it for this Friday night. I think it was like the 8:30 or 9 o'clock show. One seat has been sold so far for this Friday night. One seat.
Oh, you know what? The numbers has not updated the number since the 14th. So it's been yesterday and today they haven't updated. So,
really?
So yeah, which tells me that it's worse. It's worse than we could probably imagine.
And that, of course, goes right back into why she's asking fans to create a petition for the movie,
because the studio will never do it.
Yeah, exactly. Because probably they would have said, yeah, we're totally going to do this. The movie only needs to hit this target and then it's a go.
Wow.
And it would have been an easy financial target, but she's smart enough to know that she's not going to say, oh no, this did not meet their financial goals. Instead, she's going to say fans need to show that they want this. There's a market for it, so you all need to petition. That's what's happening right here. This tells us that Marvel ain't going forward with Young Avengers, or if they are, it's definitely not as a theatrical feature film. If anything, it's going to be for Disney Plus. But with these numbers, why would you even do it for Disney Plus? Why would you make another female-centric flop for Disney Plus that no one's going to watch? It's still going to cost the same as the theatrical movie. So why would you invest that money that you're never going to see again?
Yeah. And the thing is, even if they were doing stuff like this for Disney Plus, for the few amount of people that would actually be into checking it out, this kind of stuff is not bringing new subscribers to Disney Plus.
No,
nobody's going to be like, "Oh, Young Avengers on Disney. Oh, I'm signing up for a subscription for Disney Plus." You know, they're literally not putting anything over there to bring in new subscribers. Like not one single thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, 100%. It's a complete black hole.
Yeah, 6 in the chat says there's a show starting in an hour at the local theater, and there's only one seat sold in the front row.
There you go.
Hilarious.
That was probably bought by Disney.
It's a bot.
One of the paid for.
It'll be interesting to see if anyone shows up for that show.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, right? Because I mean, the daily total on Seniors Day, which is Tuesday here in the States, right? The average theater earnings was $819.
Wow.
Whoa. Man, how pissed are the movie theaters right now?
About this they'd be seriously angry.
Well, they're certainly not happy.
Do you think they've consistently made the rest of this week less than $3 million? So Monday they made less than $3 million domestically on this film. I'm going to say Wednesday probably made less than 3 million. Thursday, that's today, it goes up in direct competition in previews with the Song of Ballad and Snakes and whatever airplanes.
Well, that's not going to do well either. I mean, they're both going to bomb, aren't they? So this is a terrible time for theater owners.
I'm calling it now. 80% drop. My mind.
Yeah,
80%. I think it's going to drop so hard this weekend.
It's going to lose theaters in no time flat.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say 74% of a fall off weekend to weekend. I think you're in the right ballpark, Nick, but I'm not going to go that deep in the paint. You know, I'll post you up, but I ain't going that deep in the paint.
60 is average. It's going to be below the average, isn't it?
Oh, easily. Yeah. 70. I think 74% safe bet because that's the same number it fell for. I guess it fell 72% on the first Monday. I don't know. It's gonna be rough, man.
Dear, oh dear.
Oh, and by the way, the critics hate Napoleon, so that's not gonna get
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but they might. I'm not convinced that they're actually qualified to review movies anymore. Quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not. Honestly, I'm not.
No, you're right.
They praise absolute wank all the time, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm not.
Well, you do make a good point because if this is historically accurate, it's not going to be diverse enough for the taste of quite a few critics.
Very, very true. Very, very, very true. Let's shuffle on to some super chats again. We got a fair amount coming in today, so thank you so much, guys. This massively helps out the show, the channel, hugely. So thank you so much. We got I've had about 600 odd people viewing as well. Please do hit that thumbs up button. It's mainly to tell YouTube that we're going live and your favorite podcast is live. So please do hit that thumbs up button. It goes a long way to helping you get notified. But let's take a look. So we had here we had from Chaos Sonic for $5 says, I doubt they will do Young Avengers because they will need Iron Lad, aka a young Kang, as she is a founding member of the Young Avengers.
Yeah. Oh, they don't need that at all. They
got
can change
Iron
that however
Yeah.
much they want.
Yeah. They could make it into whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean, they haven't followed anything. They couldn't give a shit. So no, don't speak too soon, Chaos Sonic, my dude. Al Humphreys, massive supporter of the channel. Thank you so much. Sent him £5. Says, may I ask the cast, what do you think the chances of Disney actually releasing the anime of AVP? I'm desperate for it. They're nuts for sitting on it. So for those of you that don't know, you on the panel, guys, there's an AVP, Alien vs. Predator anime that was fully made, fully realized, edited, locked in, done under Fox. And it never got released.
Really?
I want that.
How close is it to the comic?
So it's no real relation to the comic.
The comic was great.
Yeah, it's no real relation to the comic. I've done some videos on it. The story is we don't have much on the story. It was set on like a almost like a refugee interplanetary ship. And it's very limited story details that have leaked about it, but it was fully realized, complete. You could literally release it tomorrow if they wanted to.
Huh.
They just sat on it. They chose not to do anything with it.
Just like they did with Sound of Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think? What's the chances of Disney ever releasing it?
I mean, if they get desperate for money, maybe they try to sell it to Netflix or something, or I don't know. I'd probably say a 50-50 chance.
I'd put it 90% on it always remaining lost and we'll never get to see it. Because the problem is that it's not high profile enough that they're going to sell it to anyone else or release it themselves. This is the kind of thing that's a tiny little animated thing. It's something that probably has already been written off, already been vaulted. So they don't care anymore. And no one that could have undone it are probably even aware that this thing exists. It's a little animated feature. They don't care. It's gone. It's lost. That's what I think. It's going to take a miracle for it to ever be released.
Culture?
I don't think they'll release it. I think that they're going to sit on it, and I don't know. I'm with Nick. I think the only way they do it is out of sheer desperation. A lot of it's gonna come down to what they decide to do with Hulu, with a lot of these Fox properties that are in boxes. So
fair. So I will say that before they bought Hulu, the chances of them releasing it were higher because I think that they could have sold it to themselves, kind of ish, via Hulu, and still made something back. So I think it was higher before they got Hulu. I think it drastically goes down when they acquire Hulu, but they also will still want to flood it with content, and they'll be fully responsible for that at that point. So it may be beneficial for them just to do stuff which has already been bought and paid for. So I don't know. I am probably a 50-50 on it getting released. But that's the justification for it anyway. So there you go. Alien versus Predator anime. Will it see the light of day?
I would definitely check that out for sure.
Yeah, well, it was made under Fox. The mandate was, we got this stuff, why aren't we doing anything with it? So they sort of decided to actually do something with it for a change, but we'll see. D sent in $10 Australian, says live action Avatar, The Last Airbender trailer dropped. I'm a little excited about it. I'm a massive fan of the cartoon, and One Piece gave me hope they'll do this right. So I was like, oh yeah, maybe this will be good. But the creators came out and said, yeah, they had creative differences, so they had to leave the project. So that's doesn't bode well.
Good sign.
No, it doesn't bode well.
And a lot of people said they didn't like the look of it, so that kind of concerns me.
Yeah, I don't know. The fact that the creators left because they were on a mission to do something that that they didn't want to do doesn't sit right with me. Whereas One Piece is the outlier, whereas that guy fully locked in everything. No, you don't do this without my say so. Go back, redo stuff, blah blah blah.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't know. But
maybe. But in the last live action version of Avatar: The Last Airbender was not good. So
No,
I mean, there's not
fans were pissed.
Yeah, if you screw this up twice, you're not getting a third shot. So
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, that is true. How many times can you screw it up? I guess, but never mind. Cheers for that, D. We got one from Reginald Matea. It says, I want guys in the Young Avengers, not to sound too manly, but Stature, Miss Marvel, Miss America, KB, Hawkeye, White Widow, and Perfect Girl from Guardians is too much. Period. Sync for me.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Strong take, bro.
You're not wrong. All that feminine energy, that gynocentric Young Avengers. No thanks. Gary sent in £2, says, can't wait for Reed Ricardo in the Floptastic 4.
Gary,
I like that. That'd be great.
Home run. You guys are crushing it today. Holy cow.
Floptastic 4.
That's great.
Totally stealing that, Gary.
Oh dear. Bucky Cat sent in $4.99, says the rags were waking about Napoleon, saying it was too alpha male centric. Oh dear. Were they actually? Because if so, that's funny. If so, that is funny. Confirmation on that culture? Is that what they were saying about Napoleon? Alpha male centric?
Well, no, not just that. It's just they thought there was a lot of puffery. It doesn't follow enough. It doesn't follow the history. It follows the path of Napoleon wasn't all that great. He wasn't that a great commander. He wasn't. There a lot of the conflict there is he's not much of a man. At least as far as that's the perspective of a lot of the critics. I mean, that's the consensus.
I heard it wasn't historically accurate.
No, it really isn't.
Which most of these movies based on, history, past historical figures, really, very few of them are really historically accurate. Yeah,
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's they're not. It's not a documentary. It's a film, isn't it? It's an entertaining film. It's a bit different if you're marketing it as a documentary, like say Netflix's Cleopatra, for instance. That was marketed as a documentary, so it's a bit different. But yeah, well, we'll see. I don't know. I wasn't didn't massively appeal to me from the trailers. I like Joaquin Phoenix, but I was like, take or leave this. Real quick, we got one more from Gary for £5. Says, never got how Mr. H liked Brie with her personality, but I just looked at a lot of Zegler bikini pics, modeling pics with makeup, and now I get it. There you go, Gary, mate. Nailed it, son. All right, there you go.
See, and look, if I didn't have the boss for the last 30 some years, and I were out there looking, I could change Brie. I cannot change Zegler. She's one of those you look at and you go, I could change her.
Those fall into the category of famous last words.
Maybe. Probably.
Absolutely, I'd say. Absolutely. Dear, oh dear. Right. Let's shuffle on to our next topic. It's a good one. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So exclusive to Deadline, this is the exclusive I was referencing, is this. Destin Daniel Cretton departs as director of Avengers the Kang Dynasty, allegedly remains aboard Wonder Man, Shang-Chi 2, and in talks to direct more stuff in the MCU. Don't know how much I believe that at this point in time, simply because that remains to be seen. There was rumors that Wonder Man was going to be cancelled. We don't know if it is or it hasn't yet. It's odd timing that, you know, he's departed ways and they've booted off the writer and replaced the writer as well. It just seems a little bit suspect. And also, the other important thing to note is this is an exclusive to Deadline. And this, with everything that's been said in this, which we'll cover in a second, this was given to Deadline by Marvel.
Yeah.
And let me take a look. I'll show you. I'll back it up, right? So Deadline hears that filmmaker Destin Daniel Cretton has decided to step away as director of Marvel Studios' Avengers Kang Dynasty to focus on his other Marvel projects. This is an amicable exit, I understand, as Cretton remains fully in the Marvel Studios family. In fact, Cretton is in talks with Marvel Studios about directing future movies. No statement of what they are, but fine. Note that Avengers Kang Dynasty is far on the theatrical release schedule, so why wouldn't he be able to do it then? And you know, basically, it's, you know, May 1st, 2026. So Creighton is currently busy on all of this stuff: Wonder Man, Shang-Chi 2, etc., etc., etc. And then this is the weird stuff that we scroll down, and then they just say this. Just this whole article about Destin Daniel Cretton, and then right at the end, Marvel Studios have delivered 30 billion at the global box office from 33 titles. What is that relevant to anything in this article? It's not. Why was this put in? This is a puff piece from Marvel.
Mm.
Why did they add this?
Yeah, why
It's
don't they
not
put
relevant to anything?
Why don't they put Marvel Studios have delivered and then put the number from the last 3 years?
But isn't it weird? What a weird thing just to throw in at the end.
Yeah.
It's not
but we all
relevant
know
to
why.
anything. Well, it's SEO. It's to give them a boost when people Google Marvel Studios and stuff, or they come across this article. Oh, they did. Oh, wow, impressive.
I think
blah,
it's
blah, blah.
simpler than that.
Fucking weird.
I think
Yeah.
it's so that people will see before commenting, because now they know. They know that they have kind of like lost it, and everyone now sees them as the loser of Hollywood. So they need to remind people, guys, before you tear us apart in the comments over this thing right here, because this is an admission that we failed with Kang. Just remember, this is how much we have earned back when we had Ike Perlmutter and the Marvel Creative Committee overseeing Kevin Feige. That's how much money we used to make. Now we don't have him anymore. We don't have the committee anymore. We just have Feige, and Feige unbound. Now it's all gone to hell. They don't say that, but that's what they should say. It just drives me nuts how they've rewritten history. And there's so many people that still believe that Kevin Feige is the savior of Marvel. So I hear so many people say, in Feige we trust. We were lied to and disinformed. We should never have trusted him. That number right there, that's not to his credit. But the last few years,
he should be booted out, and then bring Favreau back to run the MCU.
Yeah, we'll agree with that. So, Culture, what do you think, bud?
Well, first of all, this thing was dead. We know King Dynasty's probably not going to be made at all.
Nope.
In fact, I'm going to go out not on a limb and say we won't see King Dynasty. We won't see any more King. The only King we're going to see is the stuff that's already been shot, and you know it's kind of buried into a storyline. I think that's done. They just released the writer. They just released this director. Wonder Man is, correct me if I'm wrong, Andre, but that's 2 or 3 episodes in, and when they stopped shooting. And Marvel Spotlight, which is their throwaway brand that they created for garbage.
I'm very disappointed that that's even being concluded. I thought that thing was canceled, that it was never happening.
Yeah.
And then to find out that they already filmed 2-3 episodes. I mean, if there's a series that shouldn't proceed, it's that one. It's completely redundant. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't lead to anything. So why would you even continue with it? I mean, they should have scrapped the whole thing. It's just going to tarnish the Marvel brand more.
Yeah, I mean it's being stated by a few people that are sourcing their information from other, places that is going to pick up shooting again here in in the next month in December.
Actually, I can think of one reason only why they would do it. And that is if Destin Daniel Cretton has some kind of personal affliction for it, that he cares deeply about it, he wants to see it through, and they right now are in the Destin Daniel Cretton business because of all the directors currently in their stable. And just think about this: all the directors that Marvel has worked with for the last 5 years, this is the most experienced, talented guy, apart from like the guy who did Black Panther. But he may not wanting to come back because he did 2 Black Panther movies for them. So Ryan Coogler may be burned out, because if history shows anything, any kind of like good MCU director, apart from James Gunn, they have 2 movies in them and then they burn out. That's what happens with all of them. So let's just assume that after the negative reaction to Black Panther 2, maybe Ryan Coogler ain't coming back for Black Panther 3. That means Destin Daniel Cretton is the strongest director that they have in their stable. We don't know how far along Shang-Chi Part 2 is. Maybe the only reason he would agree to even do that at some point down the line is if he got to do Wonder Man in between. I'm just speculating here. I don't know this, but that's the only reason that I could think that they would even do Wonder Man at this point, is because this guy has a personal investment in it. And if he doesn't get to do that, well, then screw Shang-Chi too. He'll just go off and do something else. He's a diverse director. He doesn't have to look long to get any other kind of offers in Hollywood. He's going to get them thrown after him. So probably is when he like, let me finish this or bye. And then they lose the strongest director that they have in their stable. Again, him being their strongest director, this does not speak well of all of their other directors.
No.
And it also speaks to their desperation and why they have to put this piece up right here. Because basically, they're just assuring everything is fine. Please, that's why we put this thing up. He's still working with us. It's not his fault. Kang sucks, but we don't blame him for it. That's kind of what they're saying here. Because to me, this is them admitting that Kang didn't work, and we're moving on. We're just going to stop talking about the Kang dynasty, and we simply won't bring it up anymore. And that Avengers movie is either going to be repurposed as something else, or they're just going to scrap it.
Well, I mean, they also slayed Captain America 4 into a complete rewrite and reshoot
9
from
months.
ground up.
Delayed by 9 months.
Yeah. I mean, it's getting the full reshoots. You have the other associated projects there. Shang-Chi, whatever, I don't care. Shang-Chi 2, it should never be made. It is a film that failed in its first iteration, did not turn a profit, lost money.
430 odd million worldwide, that.
Yeah, 430 worldwide box office on a an easily disprovable $150 million budget. So,
in that movie's defense, though, they don't actually know what it would have made under normal circumstances, because it was released theatrically when the lockdowns weren't completely over and everyone was still freaking out. I mean, how badly that movie did at the box office is part of the reason why Scarlett Johansson's lawsuit just kind of went away. Because that just proved that, you know what, you didn't lose anything from us dropping Black Widow onto Disney Plus, because it would have just lost money in theaters. So that, just like Dune got an excuse for what it did in theaters because extenuating circumstances, same thing with Shang-Chi. I do believe it would have underperformed under normal circumstances. But given that they weren't normal circumstances, we don't know that. And because of that, Marvel just have to carry on with the assumption that movie would have been a hit. That is why they treat it as a hit in the media and stuff like that. Blatantly, it wasn't in terms of the box office, but it has an excuse for why it wasn't, meaning we have no data. Because we may think, and we're probably right, that it wouldn't have performed all that well. We can't know that.
Well,
It's
the
a movie
difference
that will be
between
exposed in part 2.
I'm going to push back on that just a little, Andre,
Yeah,
and I'll
go
tell
for
you
it.
why. That movie's only separated from its release date, which was September 3rd of 2021, from the release of No Way Home, No Come Home, right? And so that's just a few months of separation. It released the No Way Home, which is just a few months after this, released into only 36 additional theaters in total. Only 36 more theaters when it opened. And that cleared a $1.9 billion global box office. So at a time when we still had countries that weren't, out there seeing films, my pushback is there's only 36 more movies out, or 36 more theaters available, and it still did rather well. I sure they can live on that excuse that 2.5 months of release time difference in the calendar may have made that much of a difference, but I just don't think so.
I submit, I'm going to push back to your pushback.
Sure.
And say that I think those 2-3 months did make all the difference. Because you know what happened in those 2-3 months in the meantime? Omicron. That happened right between the two. And I'm going to be very careful with what I say here because I don't want anything to happen to Mr. H's channel. But
Right.
when it came to the worldwide medical situation that was going on at the time, what ended it when one could fully go back to normality? It wasn't the medical treatment that was forced upon a large part of Western civilization. I hate to break it to anyone that's listening, but that thing did fuck all to end anything.
Right.
What made the difference was Omicron, because here was something that was that sounded like a transformer that freaked everyone out. But that is the thing which gave what you might refer to as immunity in very large groups. That is the thing when the medical establishment kind of had no choice but to say that now it's safe to go back to everything. That's what made the difference. And
Okay,
that
so
happened right in between that time frame.
okay, well let's take another deep dive then, because between No Come Home and Shang-Chi, Eternals came out.
Oh yeah,
that
What a
fucking
sti-
film,
what a
that
stinker.
bombed so hard.
Yeah, that was a movie that's told everyone watching the trailer, stay away. There's no reason to watch this.
Like I
Yeah.
said, I mean, I look at those numbers. Eternals supposedly cost more than Shang-Chi. I think Shang-Chi budget's an entire lie, but that
Yeah. That could be.
But
I submit that Eternals is the worst movie Marvel ever made.
right. In that film only made an opening Friday. That opening weekend, Eternals made $4 million less than Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So
how did it perform compared to the Marvels?
Oh, that's a good question. Let's take a look.
Because you know what I think?
It did better than the Marvels, I'm pretty sure.
I think
the Marvels is the worst.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that movie, even in an alternate parallel universe where no lockdowns ever happened, where we just carried on as we always did with no virus of unknown origin ever hitting society, if we had just carried on as before, I think that the Eternals would have performed pretty much exactly the same as it did, because it actively put people off. And from that, it also follows that since that movie bombed, and it was always going to bomb, and just a few weeks after, Spider-Man No Come Home was this big smash hit it was always going to be, even in a normal situation. Because by that time, so many people were over it, and it was widely known, even in America. And America was the last holdover at the time, because even before Omicron ever hit, like for instance in Norway, where I was at the time, we had already been completely back to normal for the better part of a year by that point. Omicron
That's
just
strange. I didn't, for whatever reason, I never worried about any of the things that were going on. I still
That's
went out.
because
and saw
that's
the
because
movie.
you're
Got some common sense.
educated
We can't,
and you have common sense. And many
can't focus
educated
too much
people
on that,
don't
guys.
have
We've got
that, but you have
to
Yeah,
both.
real quick. You have so 5 days in, and this is the question you asked, Andre. Eternals was sitting at 80.8 million.
Ah.
The Marvels is sitting at 51.7.
Those 80 million, I don't think there's any scenario under which the Eternals would have opened any higher than that, because it had a trailer that actively put audiences off always. This was a pure Kevin Feige production. Oh, and Victoria Alonso. It was a Feige Alonso production. It was a pure virtue signal from day one. But it was something there was no audience interest in seeing. It had the wrong director. They could have brought people into it if it had like the Jack Kirby visuals of Thor Ragnarok, but it didn't. It was just, it looked boring. It was colorless. I mean, it might as well have been in black and white. It had a dour and depressing trailer. Everything sucked about it. I think that it would never have made more than 80 million. Even in the prime of the well, maybe if it had come out 5 years earlier, but that movie at that time, there's no way it would have made any more.
One last point: the Maternals on day 2 had eclipsed. It has more earnings at 54 million than the Marvels do at 51 on day 5.
Yeah,
that's how bad this movie is, folks.
Yeah, and the Eternals is part of the reason why the Marvels is doing so bad right now, because that one really strained the Marvel brand. I mean, between the Eternals and Thor Ragnarok, Thor Love and Thunder, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, between those 3 movies, a lot of damage was done. And of course, Disney Plus just compounded it.
What do you got there,
well,
Nick?
Time will tell whether this whole Destin Daniel Cretton business is a symptom of a much larger problem behind the scenes. I would probably say it is, with the fact that the writers have been changing hands on Kang Dynasty, etc. Yeah. But it does remain to be seen. So it's interesting stuff nonetheless. We've got to shuffle on now.
Oh, Nick had a graphic. I was curious.
I just wanted to show just something real quick. Like, so this is basically like the bar charts with the yellow lines being the budget of the films, or the so-called budget of the films. Here's the Marvels down here. Of course, it hasn't completed its run yet. They got the pandemic releases, but yeah, the Incredible Hulk movie, that's really been the lowest one since the first Iron Man movie. I don't even think the Marvels will hit that. And of course, they got the pandemic releases of the Eternals, Shang-Chi, and Black Widow. But I just wanted to kind of show that.
And also remember inflation in all of this.
Yeah. But also, that's probably not been updated for the latest figures that came out for Endgame and Infinity War as well, because they were much higher, remember, budget-wise.
Oh, yeah.
That would be interesting. But yeah, no, good. Let's shuffle on now. So we've got a super chat just dropped in from Hemorrhoid Hertz for $7.99 Australian dollar redo. Says, I would rather slowly cut my cock off with a butter knife than watch Kang the Cuck shite.
That sounds excessive, but I see your point.
Yeah.
Astute observation. For those wondering why I kept disappearing, my dog wanted to go out, and then he started barking when he was outside, so I had to get him inside. So that's why I kept disappearing. Sorry about that, guys. But unfortunately, Jasper needed to go out, so it is what it is. Couldn't do much else about it. Right, so let's get to our next topic now, which I think we should all enjoy, quite frankly. seeing this more and more with people now.
Yeah.
So this is a director coming out and basically saying, why would any real filmmaker work for Marvel? And we're seeing this more and more. We had it from the actor, the lead in The Bear. He came out and was like, what can you do for me? And apparently a Marvel executive, he was like, why should I be in one of your movies? And a Marvel executive was like, fuck you. And he was like, see you then, bye. Like, I don't understand why his quote is, I don't understand the pinnacle of an actor's career is being a superhero movie. We're seeing this more and more and more from actors and directors, significantly more. And it's definitely the turning of the tide on superhero movies being, the thing that people want.
That it is. No doubt about that.
Yeah. So here we have it. Book of Eli and the Continental director Albert Hughes questions why any real filmmaker would work for Marvel. Beautifully put. Beautifully put. And he did well with the Continental. I quite like the Continental. I think he did pretty well with it, to be honest.
Yeah.
But Hughes was on Josh Horowitz on YouTube, where he detailed how he had actually begun the process of working with Marvel. Then he realized it was not for him. So he said, I've been in talks with the obvious studio about superhero movies a couple of times, but I always felt uncomfortable because I knew it was a system and they're very nice. And I went through a long process. In fact, I broke down. I still have this from a year and a half ago where I broke down all their movies, like put them in a spreadsheet and broke down the box office, the Rotten Tomatoes score, the VFX. I ranked the VFX. I had to do a deep dive on them. And I got not very close, halfway through the process. Then I go, nah, I would implode from kind of the controlled nature of that world and not being able to do what I want. And then he just goes, I don't understand. I wouldn't understand why a real filmmaker would want to be in that system. I would understand why up-and-comers would, which do a good job of like finding people at the right time. But I think I would implode. There was one character I was interested in. All the others I really weren't. There were 2 other opportunities that I just know it's a bad situation. You never want to be somewhere you're not truly wanted. You're not truly wanted for what you do. That's amazing.
It's also very dangerous for Marvel that he's coming out and he's saying this on Hollywood's behalf. Because now he makes it safer for everyone else to come and say the same thing.
Yeah, but he actually goes on to say some other stuff. So he went on to discuss his distinction between a filmmaker and a director. I think there's a thing that is rarely talked about in Hollywood, the difference between a director and a filmmaker. And it goes back to what you were saying, Andre. A filmmaker, it's all encompassing what their touches on that film. That's a filmmaker to me. And there are filmmakers, like a producer can be a filmmaker too. A cameraman is a filmmaker, a rock star cameraman. A director is the one who just comes and calls action and leaves and doesn't really check in on the edit every once in a while. You've seen a million of those. Exactly what Marvel does. They hire directors. Yeah, exactly. So if you're getting hired for you and what you do and what you bring, I've been in a situation more recently where I started getting poked and prodded and I'm like, oh, they didn't really want what I do. I was checking a box for them and this is not going to work out. As it didn't work out, I had to quit that job and I smelled it pretty early and I'm like, no, I'm not here for this. I love it. What a legend. What do we think?
Yeah, he's calling them out.
Massively.
Like, oh, I know why they're talking to me because I, checked that box for them, not because of I'm a good filmmaker. This is what I do. I don't just come in and say action and then leave. Like I'm there through the whole process, from start to finish. I'm a filmmaker. I guess, Marvel just wants their diversity hires, which we have seen over the last few years for sure. And, just keep checking those boxes and giving us crap.
I love it. I think it's so good that they just come out and said it all.
Hopefully more people will come out since he just did. I'd love to see more people come out and basically.
This is the danger for Marvel that more people will do just that.
What do you think?
Is anybody surprised though? I mean, that's the question here. Or is anybody surprised that they have this so down to their factory filmmaking thing with their their committee of executives that ride herd over the top of everything that's done? And why would that be a joyful process for anybody who's creative?
It wouldn't be at all.
So I'm not surprised because it's not the first time we've heard it, but it's funny because he worked very closely with Chad Stileski. I always mispronounce his name. Who is the John Wick guru, right? And come to find out that Stileski did work on one of the Captain America films early on as like a second unit director. So I haven't heard him. He hasn't gone back to work for him. So I wonder who he talked to get a perspective on maybe this isn't for you. Because I mean, he obviously worked with Chad. So very interesting stuff. But man, yeah, and I don't know, Andre. This could be catastrophic for Disney and Marvel going forward, right? I mean,
yeah, because he says the quiet part out loud, and in saying that quiet part out loud, he makes it safe for others to do the same. Because I said before, why would you want to direct a Marvel film? And yeah, obviously there's reasons why. For instance, he said it himself. If you're a young and upcoming director, it's the greatest start of a career you're ever going to have. There was a time when if you directed a Marvel movie, that was going to be the biggest hit you would ever direct. You could suddenly become one of the all-time greatest directors in terms of box office simply by virtue of being associated with a Marvel movie. That means you're going to have that on your resume forever. I mean, and even if Marvel doesn't pay all that well as a director for a Marvel movie, for an up and coming director, you're going to earn 10 times as much on that one movie as you do on anything else. If it works out, Marvel are going to have you in their stable. You'll be part of the Disney directors. So you'll get offers for Star Wars. You'll get offer for more Marvel things. This thing, yeah, fine, you might not do many other things, but this thing is going to set you up for the next 10 years. And during those 10 years, you're going to make so much money that after that, you can just retire. So there's plenty of reasons why you would want to do a Marvel movie, at least as of a few years ago. But now, maybe that ain't true anymore. Because now they have these young up-and-coming directors, but all of their other brain thrust is gone. So now they make movies which are shit, and they get no offers afterwards. On the contrary, it can ruin their careers. Like, for instance, what have the directors of the first Captain Marvel done lately? I know they've done some things, but nothing big after that. What has that Chinese chick who did the Eternals? What has she done afterwards? Chloe Zhao.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, that ended her career because now, I mean, doing a Marvel movie, even if your job really is just to like get this or one thing out of the actors and the rest is kind of done for you, if the movie ends up a crowd pleaser, it's going to work out for you fantastic. But if it doesn't, you are now part of why Marvel failed. So why would you want to be part of that? Because now, if you're going to work for Marvel, it's going to work out. Now, when Marvel is no longer seen as unstoppable, when the sheen has worn off, at this point, if you're going to do a Marvel movie, you're going to have to do 10 times as good as you would have any other movie in order for your movie to be the one that sticks out and actually turns out to be good. But can you do that in an atmosphere where you don't have any creative freedom? These are things that any director now considering working for Marvel has to ask themselves. And what this guy is doing right now is just putting that out there in the open. He's telling all the talent pool that Marvel could go to, he's telling them all, Why would you want to work for Marvel at this point?
It's not just him either. It's actors. Like I said, that Bear actor, the lead actor of the Bear, he came out and just absolutely ripped them apart. It's the floodgates are open now for pretty much open criticism on Marvel.
Yeah, and it's all happened since the release of the Marvels. That's true legacy of this movie, because that movie, it ended them. Just look at the conversation, look at the trades. I mean, their public perception is done for now.
Yeah, yeah, they've just become a bit of a joke now.
And the horrible thing is, if you come from like such a flawless track record, the moment that is broken, then you are done. I mean, just look at what was the name of that fighting chick? Not Gina Carano, the one that came after her. I've forgotten her name now. Even
who went to the WWE?
The one who was like
Ronda Rousey.
Yeah, Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey. I mean, she was invincible. She couldn't lose anything. And then she lost one fight.
Yeah.
And then her image was done, and she was
the same as Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Same as Conor McGregor. He's never been able to bounce back. So, anyway, let's shuffle on. We got ones. Do you have anything to add to that? Sorry, guys.
Oh, I was just gonna say they'll just end up keep bringing up like what he said, up and coming people who check the box and are also activists. I mean, look at who they hired for the Ray movie. This Shermaine Obid-Chinoy, like
actual
activist and check the box woman, person of color, like
2 for 1.
Yeah,
2 for 1 deal.
Yeah, I mean they're checking all
and
kinds
a feminist
of
probably. It's a 3 for 1.
And you don't know. Maybe she likes
pussy. Yeah. A bit lesbo. Who knows?
She's married with 2 kids. So.
Oh, that's no excuse. I mean, she
repressed, mate. It's fine, isn't it?
I mean, there's plenty of people that have decided to go on to become they-thems after having married with kids and everything.
Yeah.
Will Smith will probably do a they-them apology tour as well. Culture, do you have anything to add to this?
I already threw my thoughts out there. I think that this is not. I think this is just another bad sign for Marvel. Honestly, I mean, you think about how many people they've let go. Marvel's now turning into Lucasfilm in that they get rid of writers and directors like very quickly now that they didn't do anything with.
I don't think them to get talent now.
I don't think Cretton's going to get that second Shang-Chi film, but we'll see. I mean, if they make Eternals 2, which was dog poo,
I want to see cameras roll on that before I believe that.
That'd be so funny.
Same.
That'd be so funny. Right, well, let's get us some super chats real quick. So we got Big Joe for $4.99 says, Mr. H, do you keep the accent when you're off camera, or does it get tiring after a while? Very serious question. I hope it's not a serious question because I am British. This is literally my accent.
I have met Mr. H in person off camera. I can confirm he speaks like that all the time.
Exactly. Yeah, you saw. Yeah, we went out for some pizza and stuff.
Yeah,
so
and he can confirm I talk like this all the time too.
I can. Yeah, this is just normal. Not a persona or anything. Completely normal. But anyway, never mind. Appreciate the super chat.
I actually am Chinese and speak Mandarin though. So
that
was a joke. Not a good one.
I thought you were going to do some of the AI stuff that you've been doing.
No. Oh boy, yeah. By the way, don't do that for much longer because the YouTube folks will get on you now for any generative AI. They are not fans. I know.
What? Yeah, why? Who cares? What's wrong with that?
They care. If you have to disclose it. If you don't disclose it, you get in trouble. I'm not kidding.
Oh, fuck YouTube, honestly, man. Fletcher McTaggy for $5 Canadian dollars. Sorry, my brain's a bit skewed now. Another indicator the tide is turning against Marvel among audiences. The backlash against Joe Russo mocking Scorsese. That is true. Yes. You actually sent that twice, buddy. So maybe just refund one. I'd hate for you to be charged twice. Please do refund that chap. Tom Workin sent in $2. Says we need, we need an alternative of entertainment. Yeah, I mean, we just need a different genre to come up in movies. So hopefully that'll happen.
There's several things I'm looking forward to. There's still good stuff out there to watch and check out.
The Killer on Netflix. Recommend that. It was good. I enjoyed that a lot.
And Reacher season 2 is coming out soon. I mean,
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah, if you want to get a trial for Peacock, I can recommend. The first episode of Continental is almost perfect.
That's on
the
Amazon Prime in the UK. It's great. I like
yeah,
Continental.
and the other two episodes you may not appreciate as much, but
overall, I
it's
thought
really good. It's overall, it's
Yeah.
better than almost anything else you're going to see on streaming. So.
Yeah. Right. Well, guys, round us out. What have we got going on? Culture. What's happening? Plug some stuff, bro.
Okay, in about 8 minutes, I'm headed to the theater to Suffer Hunger Games Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so you don't have to. So look out for that review. Yeah, I know. 2 hours and 2 hours and 37 minutes of hell. That's what I'm up for. Otherwise, I do weekday morning live streams that are 6 to 12 minutes long on average, called the 6 Minute Daily. So check that out. I've definitely got some more videos on the way. And yesterday was a banger because I had a bit of a rant. I had a real ranty. So check that out. But that's all. Oh, and tonight I'm on Comics Division's channel doing Thursday Night Throwdown. So there you go.
Excellent. Nick, what you got going on, bro?
Coach and I are going to be recording some videos later, some MCU stuff, some of the news that we covered here, some of it that we didn't, or you guys might have covered before I got here. But and then our Saturday night live stream this Saturday night. I'm still working on a Wednesday show I'm going to try to start maybe the first Wednesday in December, but stay tuned for details on that.
All right,
algorithm's definitely not liking us changing away from Star Wars, though.
It is every time. Andre, what you got going on, bro?
We dropped a video a few hours ago where basically give my take on what's going on with Marvel right now, and also the hilarity with Sony dropping the trailers for Madam Web. That was some timing right there. There will be plenty other videos to come in the next few days. I'm sure there's going to be a video or two over the course of the weekend. Probably also about the Hunger Games. Maybe I'll go see it. If I do so tomorrow. I haven't decided that yet. So just stay tuned. And Midnight's Edge tomorrow at 5 p.m. UK time, for those of you in the UK. 6 p.m. Central European time, and 9 a.m. LA time, and for everywhere else, just calibrate from the LA time. That's what we go by.
There we go. Just real quick, I had a super chat here from Tom. It says, not to put you all on the spot, but YouTube, how have you navigated it? For me, it was a bit of a war of attrition, really. I've just absolutely smashed down as much content as possible. I guess that's probably what you're referring to with are you talking about the demonetization? That stuff can't navigate. You just get demonetized. Yeah, I'm guessing that's kind of what he's referring to. What about you guys?
I don't really understand.
I guess he's talking about all the rules, regulations.
I think he's talking about basically all the rules and how YouTube is basically working against you all the time.
Yeah.
So I don't cuss or swear within the first 30 seconds of a video. That seems to work okay for demonetization. That's Don't care about saying COVID and stuff these days. Some stuff I don't really care about. Like I'll openly in the Madam Web trailer, I'll talk about tits and stuff like that.
Yeah,
that stuff doesn't seem to matter too much. It seems, I don't know. Maybe it's the accent. Maybe they don't pick up the accent properly. The AI software. I don't know.
On our pre-records, we'll always upload them, and then if we get hit on something or something gets dinged on it, we'll just go in there and re-edit it and then just re-upload it. And then once we get the all clear that nothing's been copyright claimed or not, they're gonna like limit ads or something like that, then we'll just go ahead and drop it to the public.
Right. There you go. Real quick, Graph Web sent in $2, says for fuck's sake, cancel Disney Plus.
Most consistent man on the internet right there.
Most consistent man. Real quick, ladies and gents, so I'm going to be away at university. I'm doing my master's degree Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, unfortunately, I've got to clock up some clinic hours. So I'm also going to be away Monday. Should finish a little bit earlier Monday, though, because it's just clinic stuff. So Monday, all the videos across the weekend will probably be backlogged to the evening. And then Monday, maybe similar-ish, but just as an FYI for that. But it'll all go as normal. Just be really long days for me because I've got to travel to London, travel back from London, work, sleep, wake up very early, and do the same thing again 3 days in a row. Very, very tiring. But anyway, ladies and gents, thanks so much for watching. We will be back next Tuesday. As a result of being in on Monday, I probably won't be doing a live stream this Sunday, but we'll be back next Tuesday. The HCast will be back. Thank you so much for watching, ladies and gents. Your favorite podcast. Cheers. Do appreciate it. Take care from me and everyone else. Bye-bye now.
Bye, guys.
Take care.